Hello and welcome to my video about the word objective. And objective is one of those words which is really useful and good to get a sense of where it came from and what it really means. And so that is my objective in this video. That is my mission, to try and give you a deeper sense of what it actually means. So a good way of beginning with that mission would be to give you the definition. So the definition of the word objective, and I should really make that line over here go to the thing, because it's meant to, there we go, so it all links up. So if I draw this box again, we've got a definition. It means based on facts rather than feelings or thoughts or emotions. Another way of saying this would be unbiased. Objective means unbiased. Now, bias is when you're kind of favouring one thing over the other. So you really like chocolate over vanilla. So when someone asks you what they should have for a flavour, you're biased in one direction. So you're not going to give them a fair assessment for what they want. You're going to think about what you believe and let that influence what you say. So to be unbiased means to look at everything from a clear perspective, not with your own opinions, your own attitudes, but just as the reality is outside. And it's that sense of really being focused on the facts, not your feelings or thoughts. That is the root of the concept of objective. Now you can see this partly in the word itself, because objective has as its root object. So it's that object that's out there. It's not about you looking out at it or observing it. It's about the thing that's actually out there that you're looking at. You're focused on the reality, not your feelings as you're looking at it, but what is the real fact of the matter. And I'll give you an example, which could be, there's thousands of examples, but it might just point towards what it actually can say. So imagine you had a case where there's a younger sister, say. She looked at the book, or she looked at the painting and was objective, even though it was made or drawn by her sister. So you see her here, she's looking at the object, she's looking at the painting, and she's focusing on that object. She could be looking at herself and saying, right, I am the sister of the person who drew this painting. Therefore, I should focus on my feelings and thoughts and emotions of loyalty and affection for my sister. But no, she's being objective, which means she's focusing not on the subject, herself, but on the object, the painting. Which means she's probably going to say, the painting was very good, but it could be improved by this, or I think this. So she's not focusing on her feelings towards her sister. She's focusing on the facts of what the painting, whether it looks good or not, or whatever. So that sense of objective is all about focusing on the object, not who's looking at the object. And you can see how useful this concept is by how many different words, like I was saying at the beginning, how many different sort of concepts have come out of it. So this whole idea of the mission, whoops, I'm not going to see that colour, mission objective. Why is it that same word as objective that I've been talking about? Well, if you imagine like a battle where the aim of the battle is to capture the hill or the castle on the top of the hill. Well, why is that called the objective? Well, because it's an object that's out there. You're focusing not on feeling happy or determined to win. You're focusing on the actual facts of what you want to achieve. So it's not about subjective feelings or emotions while you're doing it. It's about the fact of where you want to go. Where you want to go. So it's that same sense of objective that you get, that basic definition of facts and being unbiased. That's how the word has come to mean other things. Just as the word subjective has come to mean, possibly being prejudiced or having a certain attitude towards something, the word objective, because it's so useful, the concept is so powerful, it's come to mean, as you all know, like a mission objective or the objective of a plan. And that just shows how powerful this idea is of having something that's outside of you, focusing on the reality. As scientists, they focus on the reality of what's out there. They're not interested on, Professor somebody has the opinion that he really likes atoms. No, they don't care about that. They want to know, what are atoms made of? How do they interact with other atoms? That's what they care about. The facts. They don't care about, the feelings or the emotions. And those scientists, when they're doing that, they're being objective. And I think it might help if I give this picture. This is Earthrise, looking at Earth from the moon. Now this really captures one of the points of being objective. How many people can say that they look at the world in, completely equally? They don't favour one country over the other, or, one perspective over the other. They just look at all the facts from all around, and they come to a perfectly objective opinion. Very few people, or if maybe no one, maybe it's impossible. Maybe I'll write that down actually. Maybe being objective is actually, or maybe being perfectly objective, because it is possible to be a little bit objective. Maybe being perfectly objective is impossible. We are all humans. We can't escape being humans. We can't escape having flaws and having biases. The ability to look at the world perfectly equally, not from your own small standpoint. It's very, very difficult. So maybe being perfectly objective is impossible. And at this point, I really do want to mention the actual roots of the word objective, because it's quite fascinating how that has implications for its meaning. So the etymology, which just means where the word came from, is instructive. It came from the same roots, the same sound as opposite, and opponent. You see that op sound, op or objective, it's that same root. And you can see that in the sense of objective is something being out there in front of you that you're looking at, you're assessing as an object. Well, opposite is that same sense, is not part of you, it's not part of your group, it's out there in front of you, opposite. And the same thing with opponent. That opponent is not on your team. It's out there. It's in front of you. It's opposite. It's an opponent. That same op sound, the actual etymology from Latin, is the same origin as objective. And you sometimes get that word. That's why it's so bad when you hear people objectifying someone else. When you make a human being like an object, when you treat a human being like an object, as if they have no feelings or thoughts for themselves, as if they only matter as an object, that's why we say you say you are objectifying that person. And that's why it's so bad, because you're making them an object when they're actually a subject. They're a human being with their own perspective, their own feelings. But when you objectify someone, it means you treat them as if they're just an object. So I hope this video has given you an insight into the meaning of the word objective.